Good morning, children. This is Karan sir, and you are watching Facts Being Taught. Today, we are going to start the chapter where we left yesterday, and the chapter's name was Colonial Rule in India. We have already studied that what were the consequences of the different wars that were fought between the British Army and the Indian Nawabs. Like one of the battle was the Battle of Buxar and Battle of Plassey. Now today we are going to take this part of the chapter ahead, like on page number 11. Please open your book on this. Colonial Rule in India. This chapter's name was Colonial Rule in India. And in India. So today we will take this part of chapter ahead. Open your book, everybody. Divya, Diya, Aryan, Golu, Sakshi. Open a book on this page number 11. So in this chapter, we have already discussed how the British East India Company came to India as a trader. They were their first first priority was to establish their business here in India and make some profit. But ultimately, their goal and their targets were changed, and they started to dream to become the ruler of this country. And they prepare a framework, a conspiracy according to which they can gain control over Indian territories. So in this process, they deceived a lot of people. They did a lot of injustice to the Indian people. And what were the instruments, what were the factors that helped them getting control over the Indian territories? Indian instruments of the British expansion. The British supremacy was established by the two main methods, direct and indirect annexations. What happened? They used to get the control over a particular territory of the Indian kings in two different ways. One was direct annexation and indirect annexation. What was that direct and indirect annexations? Direct and indirect annexations. So, according to this, they attacked on they used to attack on some of the territories, and under this direct annexation they used to attack by attack and war. By attack and war, they used to get the control over this sort of territories that was known as the direct annexation. And indirect annexation was that. Indirect annexation was there. Indirect annexation means the areas which were annexed. Annexed means to cut down a territory, to get control from the others. So from this method, these were based on the laws. Okay. So according to the direct annexation, the British Army attacked on the particular area or a kingdom. They won it. They defeated that Nawab or the king, and they just include their territory into their territory. Now, so in direct, Punjab and Sindh were examples of the direct annexation. It means they attacked in the Punjab and they defeated the king or the Nawab of the Punjab, and they just got that area into their territory. Similarly, Sindh was also done 1849 and 1843. These are the two examples. And in indirect, there were some sort of different methods which were applied, there was one rule, what was known as subsidiary alliance, and the other was doctrine of lapse. These were the two laws that were made by these Britishers to annex the different territories. Subsidiary alliance. What was the subsidiary alliance? The subsidiary alliance was stated by Lord Wellesley. Who started the subsidiary alliance? Subsidiary alliance. This was started by Lord Wellesley. Lord Wellesley. Who was that? Wellesley. Lord Wellesley started this subsidiary alliance. According to this alliance, this was a very effective instrument for the expansion of the British territory in India. The main provisions of that system included these. So what were the main prospect and the key points? What were the things that were included in this subsidiary alliance? There were the conditions. What were the conditions of this? The British agreed to maintain a permanent and fixed military troops within the territory of their ally to fight the rivals of the ally. What they did, they just got some of the, suppose that they attacked a kingdom, its name is suppose that A, and A's area is very far from all sides. It rules very far and off places. So they used to get this much area, give me half of your territory, and I will save you, I will protect you. If some enemy attacks you, I will protect you from your enemies. Instead of this, just you have to give me this part of your land, this part of your territory, you have to give it to me, then I will protect you from the other enemies. But Britishers in themselves were the biggest enemy of the king. Another condition was there, in return they didn't take money but took over a part of the territory or the ally. It means those who are coming into the alliance, they used to get some part of their territory. The British official called the resident was placed in the alliance court. The king who is ready to for the subsidiary alliance, one official or British officer will be deputed there in the alliance court. He will be looking after all the affairs of the court and economical activities. He will give a report to the British officials. And the ally could not maintain any relation with any other ruler without the approval of the British. It means if British doesn't allow, nobody can have a relation with the other kings, other kingdoms. The states brought under this British control by this system were Hyderabad in 1798 and 1800, Tanjore 1799, Awadh 1801, Gwalior 1804, Indore 1817, Udaipur and Jaipur 1818. It means these were the territories, these were the kingdoms which were included into the British territory under this, on the base of this subsidiary alliance system. Now another thing came into this point, that was doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse. What was the meaning of this doctrine of lapse? Subsidiary alliance, we have already understood that this was an agreement where the king has to give some part of his territory to the Britishers, and instead of that, despite having this deal done, after that they will protect that kingdom from their enemies. That was one point. Another point was that one of the British officials will be appointed into the courts of that kingdom. Next, another point was that the doctrine of lapse. This one, doctrine of lapse. What is the meaning of this? That doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse means one, if the king or a queen doesn't have his own son, he doesn't have the right to rule after his death. Suppose that Mr. A is a king of a territory, he is the king, he doesn't have any son, no son. He has no son. Then what will happen? After king's death, after he dies, nobody will be there to look after his kingdom and after his territory. So this territory will become automatically become part of the British territory. The Britishers will take control of this area as this king has no son and no adopted son will not be entertained. If the king doesn't have any son, he adopts someone to make him his heir, but his heir will not be entertained. Britishers didn't allow to adopt a son and make him the next king, but that was not done. So on this basis of this thing, they annexed how many kingdoms, how many territories they did? They annexed some of the like Satara 1848, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Nagpur fell victim to this policy of doctrine of blacks. Jhansi, have you heard about the story of Jhansi ki Rani? She doesn't had any own son, but she had adopted a son and the Britishers didn't allow her to make him the next prince or the king. Then what happened? She fought with the Britishers. Ultimately, eventually, in the war, fought between the British and the Jhansi ki Rani, the Queen of Jhansi. She was defeated and killed by the Britishers, and this is how they get control over this territory, Jhansi. Next, annexation of Awadh. In 1956, Lord Dalhousie annexed the state of Awadh and deposed its ruler Wajid Ali Shah. Lord Dalhousie claimed that the misgovernment as reason for this annexation. He just threw the king out of the position, out of his palace, and get control over that. And they told that there was a misgovernment going on, that Wajid Ali Shah was not able to rule the territory, he was not able to control the territory well. That's why I am just annexing this. So this was useless points they were used to make, like if somebody is not performing well, so they should change it, they should replace it by the other king, but they should not just take that kingdom. Administration under the British, in order to control the governing number of the regions that Britain was assimilating within the folds, the British set up a new system of administration. Their main purpose was to benefit from the trade and increase their profits through trade. Improving the welfare of the people was never their intention. Britishers, there was only one goal, that was the profit. Only they were working for the profit. They had no worry about the Indian people. They didn't want Indian people to grow, to prosper, to be educated, to eat well, to wear well. They never wanted that. Their only objective was to get some profit, to do the trade and get some profit, nothing else. So now EFG you have to make. I'm sure that Divya has made it. Sakshi has also tried it. So make it please, EFG, and send it to me in the group. Think and answer. You can make it as your wish, but that is not necessary. I'm not going to cover all those aspects of the chapter because the syllabus is too healthy. Syllabus, there are 34 chapters and we have to take care of that. Thank you. Have a nice day.